A silence heavier than steel hangs over the ruined courtyard of the Celestial Alchemy Sect. Ash drifts like ghostly banners from the shattered pavilion, where the clash of rival cultivators left scars on both earth and spirit. Ling Yun's gaze sweeps the battlefield, tracing the smoldering footprints of allies lost and enemies who dared defy him. Whispers of an ancient elixir, said to awaken powers beyond mortal reckoning, stir unease even among the strongest disciples. As shadows stretch across the desecrated halls, the winds carry a question none dare voice aloud. Which hearts will endure, and which will be consumed next? This is Alchemy Emperor of the Divine Dao 1571 to 1572, and the next chapter promises a reckoning that will shake heaven and earth alike. In the shadowed expanse of the netherworld, a lone figure stood unmoving, his gaze fixed like a blade upon Tan Yun. Ling Han's presence radiated an aura so potent that the very heavens seemed to quiver. With a single thought, a torrent of divine light erupted from his form, ascending into the sky like a pillar of pure radiance. It was a brilliance that could perhaps be glimpsed from worlds away, an undeniable mark of one who had touched the immortal realm. Tan Feng's face drained of color, his astonishment so profound that it silenced him completely. He could scarcely believe what he saw. A mere eternal river tier cultivator, mastering the regulations of both the immortal realm and the netherworld simultaneously. The impossible had been shattered before his very eyes. Yet he steeled himself, eyes narrowing as his voice cut through the tension. So what? A shiver of intent to protect his clan hardened his resolve. Hold it. Tan Yun's voice rang out, commanding, unyielding. Tan Feng, though domineering by nature, immediately stepped back with respect, suspicion clouding his mind. Perhaps the elder knew secrets of the Eight Stones' forbidden land, he pondered, wary of forces beyond his comprehension. Tan Yun's eyes never left Ling Han, and in that gaze a plan began to form. For generations, descendants of cultivators cast from the celestial realm had clung to a single truth. To return, one must fuse the regulations of the two realms. Yet for tens of millions of years, no one had ever succeeded. The regulations were like fire and water, eternally opposed, always canceling one another out. To even coexist was a Herculean feat. To fuse them, nearly unthinkable. And yet, here was Ling Han, a flicker of hope in a realm that had long known only despair. The Tan clan's ambitions crystallized, raise him to power, let him open the gates to the celestial realm, and then, if necessary, remove him after the deed was done. For though earth demons, even those who could wield fused regulations, were powerless against heaven demons, the dream of returning to the celestial realm eclipsed all else. The death of a clan member, the whispers of forbidden lands, all paled before this singular goal. Don't presume that a forbidden land can threaten the Tan clan, Tan Yun said with a soft chuckle, his aura unwavering. Even saint kings, stepping into the netherworld, command only raw power. Against the yellow demons, they would falter. Ling Han's laughter echoed, unshaken even in the presence of an earth demon. The hysteria demon master and the others felt the tremor of courage in this youth. Boldness, untempered by fear, radiated from him. Senior, he began, eyes glinting, I too confuse the regulations of the two realms. My ancestor would naturally have done so. He bluffed with unwavering confidence, daring them to verify in the immortal realm if they wished. But Tan Yun, sharp and discerning, smiled beneath his composed demeanor. If your ancestors had truly fused the two realms, would they not have already returned to the celestial realm? A subtle trap in his words, piercing the veil of Ling Han's deception. Ling Han inhaled sharply, realizing he had overextended his claim. But the fire of defiance surged within him. How could a lowly forbidden land comprehend the true might of the Eight Stones? Allow me, Senior, to demonstrate. Let me block your strike and witness the strength of our domain. Shock rippled through the assembly. Who dared speak with such fearless audacity, denigrating the Tan clan while addressing its senior with courtesy and still offering to face an earth demon head-on? Very well, Tan Yun replied, calm as still water, and extended his hand. The casual gesture belied the cataclysmic force it carried, a strike imbued with the power of countless heavenly bodies, a blow that even the mighty yellow demons could not endure. Ling Han summoned the indestructible heaven scroll, a golden aura cascading over him, symbols glowing upon his skin with a complexity that defied comprehension. Wang, the attack struck, and yet it was blocked. Power meeting power, the impossible rendered real. Pooh. The demon masters choked, their astonishment palpable. Even Tan Feng could not fathom the sheer audacity of a mere eternal river tier cultivator standing against an earth demon. Yet, Ling Han bore his victory with hidden cost. Several of his godly bones were shattered and his origin power depleted. The indestructible heaven scroll healed him, but the strain was evident. The demon masters saw not just his triumph, but the price exacted by such reckless courage. He had truly defied the heavens. Tan Yun's gaze sharpened, fervor flickering within. This young man was no ordinary cultivator. He had possibly unlocked the secret to fusing the regulations of the two realms. Could the Tan clan seize such an inheritance if it were theirs to command? The thought sent a thrill through him, and a plan began to take shape. Young man, come as a guest to our clan. Should your family arrive, I will ensure they may reclaim you. His hand reached again, a gesture of both invitation and trial. Boom! The sky darkened under the weight of a demonic hand, power enough to crush mountains and scatter stars. Ling Han, exhausted and cornered, faced a seemingly impossible strike. The indestructible Heaven Scroll's defense was spent, the Black Tower unreachable, and yet his eyes flared with a radiant intensity. Light of Dao, the recognition of heaven and earth itself, poured into him. Even Tan Yun recoiled, wary of the blinding brilliance. Ling Han absorbed the light, unleashing it in a shield of pure cosmic energy. Once more, he withstood a strike from a supreme elite. The Hysteria Demon Master and others could only gape. A mere Eternal River tier cultivator had blocked 2 consecutive attacks from an earth demon, a feat that defied logic, a display of unearthly valor. Tan Yun, unfazed but intrigued, smiled and asked, "Young man, what other techniques lie within you?" His hand reached a third time, the ultimate force of the netherworld poised to strike. Ling Han's mind raced. Heaven and earth trembled with the power converging upon him. How could he endure this? What path remained untraveled to meet such calamity head-on? The battlefield held its breath, the world itself seeming to pause, as the young cultivator braced to confront fate once more. A solitary figure standing against the storm of demonic might. The clash of will and power, of light and darkness, had only just begun. The air trembled with an oppressive weight, as if the heavens themselves had paused to witness the unfolding of fate. Ling Han found himself cornered, all his formidable techniques spent, all his secret arts expended. Even the most potent celestial techniques at his disposal were insufficient against the towering might of the yellow demons, much less the earth demons who loomed with godlike presence. Now, with the Black Tower beyond his reach, there was no sanctuary, no hidden refuge. His only hope rested on the mercy of Tan Yun, whose intent was capture, not death. Yet Ling Han knew that time was a fleeting gift. Once the small tower stirred from its slumber, fear would no longer hold dominion over him. A thunderous boom shook the void as a colossal demonic hand descended, blotting out the sky, the earth, and the very light of the sun. "Het! Old Tan the Third," a voice rang out, playful yet biting, threading its way into every ear present faster than Tan Yun's own strike. Targeting a mere Eternal River tier cultivator? Twice you have failed, yet here you stand, bringing shame to old Geezer Tan. The demonic hand halted abruptly, frozen 30 meters from Ling Han. In that instant, 2 figures materialized beside him, as though summoned from legend itself. One was a bent and venerable elder, his hair a snowy cascade, his aura heavy with the weight of age, fragile yet infinitely commanding. The other, a towering of primal strength, bore only a beast-skin skirt, his presence raw, untamed, as though born of the wild. All eyes were drawn not to the savage man, but to the frail elder. At first glance, he seemed unremarkable, but a closer gaze revealed a mind-snaring magnetism. Those who dared meet his eyes felt as if their consciousness waded into a swamp, trapped in a mire of his power. Beads of cold sweat ran down the faces of the onlookers, spirits and energy alike drained under his silent dominion. Even Tan Yun, who had braced himself against the storm, found his composure shaken. "Friend, senior, are you from the 8 Stones Forbidden Land? You seem acquainted with our ancestor." His voice betrayed awe mingled with apprehension. Ling Han's attention, however, was captivated by the savage beside the elder, none other than Go Li, the rogue cultivator who had promised their paths would cross again. Go Li's eyes twinkled as he caught Ling Han's gaze. "Didn't I say so before?" That our meeting was destined? The assembled demon masters were struck silent, the revelation slicing through their arrogance like a blade. If Tan Yun, an earth demon of terrifying prowess, had bowed in deference, the elder before them could only be a being of heaven demon stature, a being whose very name whispered the boundaries of the impossible. The elder chuckled, a sound like ancient winds sweeping through forgotten peaks. Time flows swiftly. Once you scurried about like a little rascal, butt naked and reckless, yet now you stand as a ruler of territories and dominion. Murmurs swept through the gathered disciples and demon masters. Even Tan Yun, clad in the mantle of an earth demon, felt the sting of humiliation in those words. Ling Han allowed himself a quiet smile. The interplay of wit between youth and age, elder and disciple, carried a wicked charm, the kind that spoke of legacy and rigorous cultivation. Tan Yun sought to redirect the conversation. Senior, it appears you know our ancestor well. The elder's gaze softened, thoughtful. That is a tale from hundreds of millions of years past. I once wished to collaborate with your forebear on matters of great import. Yet old Geezer Tan proved far too timid. The words landed like hammers, yet Tan Yun dared no retort. Faced with a heaven demon, even the proudest earth demon could only bow. Senior, Tan Yun pressed, attempting diplomacy, this man has slain a disciple of the Tan clan. In light of your acquaintance with our ancestor, might I take him with me? Surely our forebear would bless this act. The heaven demon's laughter rumbled like distant thunder. Black air surged from his nostrils, forming twin divine spears that sliced across the sky, washing the world in a pallid, lifeless light. Fear gripped every soul, and those beneath Genesis' tier fell to their knees, hearts pounding in terror. Only Ling Han remained, standing firm as if heaven and earth themselves recognized his right to stand among the transcendent. Tan Yun's bow deepened, humbling himself beneath the indomitable will of the elder. With a wave of his hand, the heaven demon spoke. For old Geezer Tan, I will not press the matter. Depart now. Return to your path. But Tan Yun's heart rebelled. He could not relinquish the one who had slain his kin, who bore a secret technique of unparalleled potency. I am not asking your opinion. The elder's palm lashed out like lightning incarnate, sending Tan Yun hurtling into the void, a mere black speck swallowed by the vast cosmos. The heaven demon then faced Tan Feng and the others, his voice cold as frost yet amiable as a gentle wind. And you? Do you require escort? Frenzied, Tan Feng shook his head. No, senior, no need. He gathered his disciples and fled, golden paths blazing, mindful that one misstep could summon obliteration. Ling Han's voice rang out, calm yet resolute. Tan clan, your kindness will not be forgotten. Repayment shall come. Tan Feng's fury surged, but memory of the heaven demon's omnipotence anchored him, and he fled in silence. The elder clapped his hands lightly. The performance is done. Leave now. Obedience was instinct. No one dared defy a heaven demon. All demon masters retreated, gathering kin and disciples with golden paths illuminating their flight. Young man, the elder beckoned, walk with me. His tone was soft, almost conversational, a stark contrast to the terrifying aura he had just wielded. Go Li chuckled beside Ling Han. Filth King Ling. No shame in walking with the likes of him. Not exactly a damsel, are you? Ling Han rolled his eyes, replying with respect. I have yet to thank you, senior, for your timely intervention. The elder merely smiled. Stepping forward with measured grace, Ling Han and Go Li flanked him, trailing slightly behind. The old man's aura had receded, revealing a visage of unassuming wisdom. You know of the celestial realm, I presume? The elder asked. Yes, Ling Han replied succinctly. No display necessary before one such as him, a nod of approval. Then explanation is needless. I am Ouyang Taishan, also the 9th elder of the Heaven-Crushing Alliance. The name carried the weight of legends, a summons to destiny and a prelude to trials that would stretch across heaven, earth, and the hidden realms beyond.